I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high, it was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil.
What's going on, fam? Commander General Yana here. As usual, you know how we do. ISUPK.com is the website, and I am in the ATL getting it in, but I got a special treat for y'all, fam, out here today. I'm sitting here with Captain Mawquad, as y'all know, from the I.S.U.P.K, holding us down in Chicago, and a very, very special lady here today. Let me say it again.
Annie,
Mrs. Annie Violet Sims. That's right. Give it up, y'all. Now let me show y'all how deep and how important what we do is. Because a lot of you have heard of the famous book, Tell All the Children Our Story. And that book was our people making sure that what happened to us doesn't get washed under the rug like so much lynching and murder that took place from us, that happened to us. And so as a result, they wrote this book. And in this book, people started reading and learning about what happened. And as brothers started to come into the truth, guess what? Brothers from the family line of the actual event came into the truth. Captain Mawquad, bro. You want to take it for a second? I'll give it up, y'all. This is, if I could, Captain, real quick, let me tell you something. This ain't history you reading in a book. This is alive right here today. All right?
Yes, sir.
Damn right.
If I could, I want to thank Commander GEN.YAHANNA for even doing this. You know what I mean? With my lovely grandmother. Of course, when people see the book, the picture on the book, they read the story. That's something that we didn't always know. The picture we didn't always had in our family for years, and to eventually see it in a history book, and for the story to come out, you know, it's definitely been an amazing thing. And you know, just me being in the truth and hearing about the things of the past or whatever the case may be, it's just all, you know, it's just, you know, all. It's a wonderful thing.
It sure is. And if I could, I can't stress this enough. I can't stress enough how what you don't understand. You walking around in the hood, you in the ghettos, you running into black people here and there, in the chicken joint, on the job, this and that. What you don't know is these are the children of the brothers and sisters that got lynched, and it wasn't that long ago. We acting like that was some ancient history. Well, I got living proof right here today, and you're gonna hear this story today, how this living proof that these things happen, and we are the children of those things, and why it should never be forgotten. Why do Mawquad got to throw away the history of what happened to his family and not expect the crimes to be corrected, man? And this should motivate black people. This should, you shouldn't be upset by this. This should motivate them. Okay? Go ahead, Cap, please, if I could.
And just from not even reading the book, but just off what my lovely grandmother told me, the story was basically you had some white landowners. They came into my family's house, and I believe it started kicking over stoves and started, you know, trying to beat their father, beat on him. Just came in disrespecting the whole family, said that they owed him money. Right, and in the process of that, he had two sons, right? My grandmother's mother had two brothers that was, what, 20, 21?
Right.
Young bulls in their prime, you know what I'm saying?
And Irving was their
Give
name.
it a mic.
Say it again, Graham.
Erskine and Irving was their name.
Erskine and Irving.
Listen, Grandma, remember their names, all right? You understand? This ain't getting washed away, man. Go ahead, Salah.
Right. So when they came in the house disrespecting the family, of course these young men, and I believe they was in the military.
No, they wasn't. It was Dr. Henry who was in the military.
Okay. Okay.
The two brothers wasn't in there.
Right.
Just the one brother went
Okay.
to the service.
To the service. So, however, after these men came in there, done what they done. Of course, the young men seeing this being done to their father and the disrespect of their family, they end up putting, I believe, the father and the son to death.
Right.
Right. So, in the process of them doing that, of course, this story in the town that they from, Paris, Texas. They end. I guess it got heard. Got around, and of course, the white mob came, got the two brothers, and end up. I believe they hung them.
They hung them first.
Go ahead, bro.
They hung them first, and then they, after they hung them, they burnt their bodies, and they took them from the street and drug them down the street, and they told the black people in the town this is where barbecue took place.
The Arthur boys were soon arrested and pleaded self-defense in the murder of the Hodges. They were brought to the jail in Paris. Hours before, signs were displayed throughout the city announcing the forthcoming lynching. One that I saw said, "Niggers caught. Black brutes who kill Hodges will be burned in the fairgrounds. Be on hand." A mob of about 3,000 waited the arrival of the prisoners. Preparations had been made to burn them at the fairgrounds. An Old Glory was pulled from the flagpole, and to this the men were chained, tortured, saturated with oil, and burned to a crisp. Their charred, smoking bodies were then chained to an automobile and dragged for hours through the streets, particularly in sections inhabited by our race. It was a regular parade of 17 cars in a truck, all filled with armed men, crying aloud, "Here they are, two barbecued niggers. All you niggers come and see and take warning."
And if I could, Ma, you saw this?
I didn't see it, my mother.
Your mother saw it.
Right.
And told
And
y'all.
every time she tells a story, she starts crying because those was her brothers.
Wow. 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 Amazing. Amazing. Go ahead.
Hey, so eventually, the rest of the family, because of what happened to the two brothers, they had to escape and get out of town. I believe
Somebody put them on a train.
Right. Somebody snuck them.
First they arrested them, and they got raped in the jailhouse, and then somebody put them on a train and sent them to Illinois, Chicago, Illinois.
Who got raped in the jailhouse, man?
All the sisters.
The girl said.
Right.
Yeah.
My grandmother's mother and her sister, they got raped in the jailhouse.
So if you could back up for one second, how did they end up at the jailhouse?
Well, they come to the house and got the rest of them.
So they did?
Yeah.
Protected.
But then they was gonna come back and kill them, but they had took my mother in the jail, and her mother and my grandfather. Yeah.
Hey, all right, would you mind bringing your chair and getting in here? Because obviously you know a lot about this story. And we'd like to get, only if you want to. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people don't like to get on camera a lot. But, yeah, sit right there. Yeah, sit right there. Can y'all get him in the shot?
Come, sir.
All right. We could definitely bring you in because you know points and parts of it as well, correct? All right. I'm sorry, Ma. So they came back to the house, got the rest of the family, and took the girls and raped them in the jail.
Right. That's what they did.
The three Arthur girls, aged 20, 17, and 14, were in jail on the pretense of protection. They were severely beaten for screaming while the mob was taking their brothers from the jail. Later on in the night, they were taken to the basement, stripped of all of their clothing, and there assaulted by 20 white men. After which they were given a bucket of molasses, a small sack of flour, and some bacon, and told to hit the road.
Wow.
And then somebody got them and put them on the bus, and they came from that. When all that happened, they came to Chicago.
They left out of there and headed to Chicago, and that's how your family ended up there.
And then my mother named her two sons after her brother, which their name was Erskine and Irving. She had twins, but one of the twins died or whatever. But this one still living.
He's still living now. Oh, I thought you meant
yes, he's still living.
He's still living now. Wow.
The other one died at childbirth.
Right. Wow. But it was so honorable.
Right. It's nothing to play with. When she told us the story, and as we got older, she still reminded us of what happened to her brothers and them. And every time this happened or whatever, she would start to cry. That was something that you'll never forget that.
Right.
This is something that they seen and they was young. How they did their brother.
That's a horror story. So it's an absolute nightmare.
Right.
And if I could, that's why they love to jump up and talk anti-Semitism when we say our Holocaust was worse than their Holocaust.
Right.
Like why our lives don't matter like their lives matter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we could go through the same, like the horrors haven't even been told what happened to us. At least they went through the records over there in Germany and found the little murdering that they did over there.
Right.
But what about us? 90 million black people in slavery, and God knows how much more atrocities they did after that. Right. And if we don't keep on to it, certainly nobody else will. They trying to change history. They don't want the 1619 project to come out because of all the horror stories that they got in these records that they don't want nobody to know about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is still part of our file. This is a living survivor of that era, man. Or the children of that era, right? And family. And that's why everybody should be coming in the truth. That's right. Well, I've been telling y'all, everybody should be coming in the truth. I shouldn't have to apologize because you destroyed and murdered members of my family. You understand? Like, why do we have to hide that? When, like you said, she kept telling that story. Right. And part of it was probably so much pain. Right. And she didn't do nothing to deserve that.
It went with her to her grave,
Wow.
And like, right now, what they really want to do is to try to take you back to those days.
Now you saying?
Take you back. But the younger generation coming up is not going to take what the foreparents took.
That's right.
You understand? They're not going to take that.
That's right. That's right.
Because all they did was stayed on their knees in the church, praying while he's killing them.
Wow.
And he's still killing them.
Wow.
But everyone he killed, here come another one. So you can't kill all of us.
That's right. Wow.
That's right.
That's amazing.
You're right.
That's amazing what you just said. Can I just say one thing on that? And y'all hear that? She said, that's what they want to bring back. Are you wondering what all this is going on, right? This with Trump and this whole Republican Party and all the madness going on. I tell you what it is. It's like, listen, this is a woman that knows. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a woman that knows. What they always used to say, the young people don't listen to their elders. Well, we listening to our elders now. And our elders is telling us that y'all want to come kill us again. And we are not going to have it this time around. So we're going to listen. We're going to take your advice. We're going to listen to our elders. You understand? And we're not going to fall for it again, man. Like, we got to care about us, man. We got to love us, man, with an extreme love.
Come together. You have to really come together.
Listen.
Don't part. Everybody come together. That's the only way we can be strong.
Listen, hold it now. Come on now. Come on now. I don't got to speak now. I'm not even going to talk no more.
She getting warmed up now. This is the lady who. This is the lady that first informed me that the white man is the devil that the Bible.
Come on, man.
I didn't have to hear it, from the school first. She taught this to us all as children.
Wow.
And these stories right here, I would love to hear as a child. So, you get Granny rolling, we gonna feel like she on the podium. I'm telling you. I'm looking at her. I'm like, she about to get the cookie.
Well, listen, let her go ahead because this here got to be go in memorial.
Damn right.
For all that has taken place. We can't never listen. They'll bring up that anti-Semitism and that Holocaust in a heartbeat. You blink your eye, they'll talk about it, and they stealing our identity. But they want you to forget about your identity. Oh, forget about slavery. Forget about what happened. We're to keep that, like Mom said, because this is what's going to bring us together and let us know to stand up in this time. Otherwise, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to church and pray and get killed while we sitting on our knees in the church. You know what I mean? That's exactly what they did with Dylan Roof in South Carolina. They tried to do the same thing, right or wrong. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, man.
What it really is this. He's always been afraid of the black man because he know the black man is strong. And when he come after you, he's coming after you with an army, and he's not gonna come by himself.
That's right.
So this is what happened with him. He's really scared of the black man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you would say him and you together, oh, he gonna back up, and he gonna start to, oh, don't do that to me. I love you, but he ain't loving you. He just don't want you to kick his butt. That's all.
That's right.
You understand? So he never wants the black man to be strong.
Let me ask you a question, right? What was it like before the incident? What was it like in the town? What was it like among black people before that incident changed the town? Did they ever tell you what it was like before that and how life was?
You mean what happened in Texas?
Yeah, meaning what was their lives like before that incident happened?
Well, sharecropping time.
You know, back then, those people
Hold the mic up a little bit.
Those people were really actually, they was not living like they were supposed to live. They would always take it. If they had a house, they had to pay for that. And it was never paid for.
You always kept paying,
right?
Almost like rent.
That's right.
No, it was just a modern day slavery, meaning that it was just more of a modern day slavery, meaning that I promise you that I'll sell you this house for this amount, but you never make enough money to be able ever to pay the house off. So
just
no
like
matter, that's correct. You always stayed in debt. So you always worked and worked and worked, but you never made enough money to be able to pay off your debt. So with our family, one of the issues that they had was none of the sharecroppers worked on Saturdays. So the person that they were sharecropping for, he wanted them to work on Saturdays, and they refused to. When he got upset about them not refusing to work on Saturday, then he took it amongst himself to come to the house, and he took the food off of their stove and threw it out in the street. He made the little girls take off their dresses and took them and threw them out on the street, saying that he owns everything in this house because he provided it for them. And from that, then one of the brothers worked his way to get a shotgun and
try to stand up against him.
Well, he did stand up against him. He ended up killing him.
I am writing you concerning a lynching which occurred here last month. Doubtless, you have long since gotten the details. If not, I will give you the facts as I witnessed them. Herman and Irving Arthur, Negroes, with their parents, were tenants on the Hodges farm. They were working on halves, a system whereby the landlord furnishes his tenants and at harvest time takes half the crop and the amount with interest, which he furnished his tenants during the year. Against the usual custom here, Hodges wanted them to work all day every Saturday. This they did for a while, washing their clothes on Sunday. When they refused to work Saturdays, Hodges came to their house on the farm 3 days before the murder and took the family dinner off the cook stove, threw it into the yard, his son holding a gun on the Arthur family. He also threw the furniture and cook stove out of the house, made the boys pull off their overalls and shoes. The girls were forced to surrender their dresses and other clothing. Hodges carried away with them, together with groceries, claiming they were in debt to him. After this occurred, the family decided to move and secured a truck for the purpose. Hodges fired on them when they were attempting to load the vehicle with their personal effects. One of the Arthur boys ran to the house, got a shotgun, and killed the white man and his son.
So once he killed them, then they knew that they was gonna get hunted. So what they did was they fled from Paris, Texas, and they went to Oklahoma. They ended up getting captured in Oklahoma, and the Paris, Texas police said, don't ship them back here because the mob will get them. And Oklahoma shipped them back anyway. When they shipped them back to Paris, Texas, the police locked them up in the jail. And what ended up happening, the city mob came and overtook the police department, and then they snatched them out of the police department. And that's when they took them and hung them, burned them, and dragged them through the town.
But now
you was asking.
Like, did they ever talk about their what their life was like with each other before that? And I guess what I'm getting at is, were they more in harmony together before the incident? I'm sure after the incident, the whole town was in an uproar. But what was it? But what were they like before the incident? If they talked about it? Like did they ever talk about what they lost and what they missed? They were a close family, you know, and this is the way she brought us up, or whatever. But I know in those days, it was so much going on till they couldn't really, they was never free. You know, to me, they was never free. I think you're right.
Right.
I know you're right.
Right. You know, so and they felt bad about that. Or whatever, you understand what I'm talking about? And they had to adjust themselves when they came to Chicago. Mm-hmm. All of them had to get jobs, help the mother and the father, or whatever. You know? So it was bad for them.
They still afraid. You know? They still afraid. The town is still afraid. Paris, Texas, blacks in Paris, Texas is still afraid today.
Next time, good. Next time I go to Texas, I'm going to definitely go to that town. But wait, let me stop you for a second, because I got to ask you about this. You mentioned how they wouldn't work on Saturday. Now that's significant. Do you know why they wouldn't work on Saturday? Or maybe I should ask you, do you know why they wouldn't work on Saturday?
Well, it was just
that was the day that was their off day. But they wanted them to work anyway. And they refused to work.
And they refused to work on that off day?
Yeah, that's when they kicked the stove and all of them stove, kicked the stove over, and, you know, no respect for my mother's mother and all of this stuff, and her husband.
Now, you know, we as Hebrew Israelites know that Saturday is the Sabbath and is the day of rest. Right. So I guess my question is, did they have Saturday off because they knew it was the day of rest, or was it just their day?
No, they knew that, but they wanted them to work.
Did y'all hear that, man? Did y'all hear that?
Right. They already knew that, you know?
So they were going by the scriptures and taking that Saturday off, correct?
Right.
And then they turned around and tried to force them to work on the Sabbath day, and lost their lives because they refused to work on the Sabbath day. Listen, y'all ain't got to convince me no more. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't need me no more. Ma can do the speaking now. Like, that's heavy. And the way you brought it out was like you knew that was significant in what took place. Am I wrong?
That is correct. So, you know, they took the Saturdays off for their personal lives. So, you know, for somebody to force you to do something on the day off, you know, it's just, as you identify yourself as a free man, then nobody can force you to work when you don't want to work, you know. So that was the idea, I think, was in place, is that now we are out of slavery. I'm working for you. You don't own me anymore. But so now I have a choice. Right, now I have a choice. You know, so he was standing up for their choice. And they have been doing this, our family has been doing that for eternity, you know. And we have family members that is in upright positions right now due to standing up for their family and their judgment and what they need to do for their family.
Go ahead, Mom, Carl, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say, just recently, what was it, a month ago, they had a memorial. The town had a memorial in Paris, Texas, where they supposedly had the white family, and some of my family members went down there, and the white family supposedly apologized to some, my family. Of course, I didn't have to go to that.
Well, what it was.
Go ahead.
What I believe it was to make face. See, that picture, it happened to have been taken by a white man. When my family arrived in Chicago, they was taking a picture. A white man asked to take a picture of my family when they was getting off the train. Well, that picture ended up in the DeSable Museum. And from the DeSable Museum, it's in every Black History book that picture is in. And now it's in a couple more books, 100 Slaves and another book that you were speaking on.
Right,
so this picture
tell all the children our story.
That's correct. So this picture has taken legs and it has been running. So now what happened is, just like Black Wall Street, they buried it. They buried that story, so no one would never know. Well, what happened is the picture then got legs to it because it's then got identities of who these people are. Before they never knew.
And what a horrible tragedy took place.
Right.
Like that picture got legs because it was such an evil and egregious thing to do to them young brothers. You know what I mean? Right or wrong. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Right. Good.
So I think the family, what they did was they knew that their family was going to be looked in a horrible light. So what they did was try to bring us in to apologize, to justify their name. It wasn't really to look. They didn't care about us. It was just more so people wouldn't look bad on them as their name was bad, and you caused this.
Now their name was in all the history books as the perpetrator.
That is correct.
That was their name, Arthur.
Say again.
My mother's her maiden name was Arthur, so that's what their last name was. The Arthur.
Was the Arthur.
Yeah.
And so that was what was. So when it got in the book, they put the authors in the book.
Well, they didn't know.
They didn't.
They didn't know the names or nothing in the book. You understand?
Yeah.
Like they got the mother, father, but they couldn't place no name, put no name to them. But we can.
Okay, that's right.
Right, we can.
That's right.
Because that was my mother's mother then.
Right, right. So y'all were able to.
Every year they put that same picture in the paper. Right.
Sorry, I want to thank you so much for coming out. I hope you don't think I'm flirting, but I got to give you a kiss. Every day, they're still doing it.
They just come every day, the police. You understand? Or whatever. So it's still bad right now. Every little thing that they do and everything that they say.
Right.
Like the Indians say, he speak with a forked tongue.
That's right.
That means he got a split in his tongue.
That's right. That's right. Just like a snake. Just like a snake.
Right. That's right.
And if I could, and this much should be made clear as well, that it was done after the emancipation. Right. Many years after the emancipation, almost 40 years after the emancipation, this was done. Right. So after all them years, you would think, according to Esau, he make it like that was it. Right. When meanwhile, look at the tragedies that were taking place every day out there. Right. It was, horrific. Right. Ma, thanks so much. I so appreciate it. Man.
Thank you, and I'm glad I was here to tell the story.
I appreciate it.
And this is my grandson.
That's right. That's right.
We love him, Mom. We love him. That's right. That's right.
That's right. Then my other grandson was sitting there. Those two.
That's right.
And I raised just about raised both of them.
Wow. Right.
And they always love me and I love them. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Excuse me.
So from two generations, this is what you have to teach the kids. You know, who is this person? Because now they growing up, they don't even know their cousins and things.
That's true. That's true.
If you don't teach them that, what they gonna know?
That's true.
You know?
That's true.
Right.
Right. All right. Well, I took up enough of your time. We're gonna wrap it up. All right.
All right.
Israelite School UPK, y'all. This is how we do it, man.
All right.
Thanks, Mom. You know, man. We'll see y'all. You know how we do. Pay your tithes, all right? Get your life right.
Hundreds of Negroes have left Paris since this occurrence. Others who have real estate are planning to leave as soon as possible.
What?